Hello everyone, welcome to this video about Azure DevOps Recycling License Tools, which is a new tool that I developed in order to help you manage Azure DevOps license in large organization. So first, I will give introduction about what is the challenge of managing Azure DevOps in a global organization or global enterprise. Then I will give introduction about Azure DevOps recycling license tools and how these tools or utilities addressing the problem or the challenge of managing Azure DevOps license in big organization. After that, I will explain how we can integrate these recycling license tools within an Azure pipeline so we can have a full automation of managing Azure DevOps license. Then we will go through what is the prerequisite for running the tools and explaining the configuration file, what is the configurable values, and then how to run the tool in the dry run, which is using for validating and verifying before running the actual mode, and then how to run the actual mode, which will take a real actions on the managing the license. And then I will give a demo which explain all the steps starting from installing the prerequisite, the configuration file, run a dry run, and run the actual run. But first, let me give you introduction about myself. It's worth to mention there are a bunch of videos in my YouTube channel worth to watch. For example, if you want to learn Kubernetes and how to automatically deploy Docker image using Azure Pipeline, this video will definitely help you. The second video, if you want to learn more about Docker in more details from installation, configuration, lifecycle, and many others. The other one, if you want to learn how to run unit testing within container and how to hook that into a pipeline for a full automation process. This one, if you are looking to get deep understanding about Git command with graphical animation to show you how each command works. For that one, if you would like to know more about intro about DevOps from high level. This one, if you want to understand how to achieve an end-to-end DevOps using Azure DevOps. The other one, if you want to know how and when to consider security within DevOps and not only implement the continuous integration and continuous delivery, but also continuous assurance. The other one, if you would like to learn and know how to measure the deployment and different KPIs and what is the difference between them. The last one but not least, this video will help you if you are looking to take Azure DevOps exam and get Azure DevOps certificate. There are many other videos which I believe you will find very interesting topics to you. My name is Muhammad Radwan. I'm a developer technologies MVP and principal DevOps consultant. I have been doing software development for more than 15 years now, worked on several projects for different enterprise customers across different regions and countries. I heavily participated in the community, developed several frameworks, presented many sessions, holding various certificates for Azure and DevOps. I started back in 2002 as a classic ASP developer, relocated multiple times in multiple countries, worked with several technologies and for different roles and positions. And for the last 8 years, I moved to consultancy-based role where I focused more on helping different companies, some of them from the Fortune 500, to improve their software development and delivery using DevOps and automation. I have developed and authored several frameworks, command line tools, and guides. You can find them on GitHub and Azure DevOps Marketplace. I like to share my experience. This is why I have a YouTube channel and blog where they have hundreds of videos and posts that share different topics from my real experience. I have presented many sessions in several user group conferences, events, and customer site as well in different countries. So I got the chance and the opportunity to work in different culture, project size, and company size as well, which helped me to have different experience. Here are some links for my activities. Okay, so what is the challenge of managing Azure DevOps within a global enterprise? When you have an Azure DevOps with a global enterprise like this, could be with hundreds of countries, hundreds of cities, hundreds of projects, and maybe 100,000 of employees and the engineers. The main idea here, it's like we have many projects, could be in one day, many projects created, many engineers joining different projects in different branches all over the world. Many engineers also, or project manager or product owners, rolling off many projects at the same time. So managing this kind of users in a global enterprise has become a challenge, because now we end up with many unused licenses that we just paying for them, but people doesn't use them, and we need to remove many user and many license, or maybe downgrade the license. So I developed a tool, a command line tool or utilities, which called recycling license tool, that give and help to manage this license management. The main idea of this tool is free up unused license based on configurable duration. So for example, I will start say like, if the user is not using Azure DevOps platform for certain duration of days, then please just remove them. Or maybe just downgrade the license from basic or basic test plan to be stakeholders. So the main idea here is to how to utilization for the best cost effective for the license with a global organization. Also, I can downgrade, as I explained, from basic or test plan to stakeholder. So again, I can free up or remove the user from the organization, or I can downgrade the license, and both of this option is configurable. I can also have several switches to enable and disable the option, because for example, I can only delete user, I can only downgrade user, maybe I can switch both of them. I can also have dry run to validate and verify the actual action. And again, this is very important. It's advisable to run a dry run first and verify that this is the expected action that will happen, and you just need to verify that this is exactly what you expect the tool. So you can, verify that the tool will not give you unexpected behavior. There is well descriptive logging either on the screen or in as a logging file system within the same directory running the tool, so you can understand exactly what has been happening during the either in the dry run or in the actual run mode. Also, I can have fully integration this tool within an Azure pipeline. So instead of running this tool from the command line, I can run it within an Azure pipeline. So I can have a full automation of free up license or unused license, or downgrade unused license in an automation fashion. Installing the prerequisites. The prerequisite for this tool, the first is to install Azure CLI, the latest version, then installing the extension of Azure DevOps CLI extension. This was, and again, in the demo, I will explain how to install both of them and how to check if you have them on your machine or not. Let's talk about the configuration and each configurable value. The first one is the dry run, and this is the main switch for all configuration. And by default, it's true. So if dry run is true, it means all the running will not take any actual effects. So the tool will give you a complete full status, but it will not take any actual effect. And this is very important to run at least one time as a dry run before, and of course verify the log file and make sure that this is what you expect from the tool to do before you're running in the actual mode. The second option is personal access token. So you need to get a personal access token with a permission to read on the organization level to get the users. It's advisable that don't give a high privilege personal access token, because this will not be used to take the actual effect, because you need to log in order to run the actual actions against your organization. The next one is the organization URL. The one after that is the organization name. Then enable downgrade user license. So by setting that to true, it means that you are going to downgrade the license from basic and basic test plan to stakeholders. If you disable that, it means that you are not going to downgrade the user license. The duration here for downgrade in days, how many the days you want to, for example, if you found a user that is not using the system for more than 45 days, this will be downgraded from basic and basic test plan to stakeholders. The next one is enable remove user from organization. So this by default set to true. And this is the duration to remove user. If you disable this switch, it means that you are not going to remove any users. And of course, the duration is just the duration in days for how many days you want. If the user is not using the system, then it will be removed. So this is the main configuration of the tool. So run the tool in a dry run mode. As we explained, we have to run the tool at least one time in the run mode. I mean, of course, you can run it directly on the actual mode, but it is advisable to run in the dry run mode so you can understanding how it's going to work in the actual mode. So as you can see by default, the tool here, it tells you that it run in the dry run mode. It tells you also that enable downgrade is set to true and remove user to set to true. And this color is green, which means that it is run in the dry run mode. It will ask for your confirmation and start giving you here, the result about this user will be deleted, and this is the duration of not using the system. And the deleted or the removed user will be in red color, and the downgraded will be in yellow color. Again, it's your responsibility to validate and verify the action before you run the actual mode. You can also open the log file in the same directory with the tool, so you can review that if you accidentally close the tools or if you get out of the tool. With each run, either in the dry run mode or in the actual mode, you have a full complete of log files. Before run the tool in the actual mode, I need to log in first by running AZ login so I can run the actual mode. So of course I can run the actual mode without login, but it will not take any effects, and there is a login error will appear during the execution, as we will see in the demo. This is in the actual mode. Once you change the dry run to be false, as we can see, it show you here, it run in the actual mode. And as we can see, the downgrade, it's set to true, and the organization, it's set to true, removed from organization. And the color is red, which means that this is the actual mode. So if you confirm with yes and press enter, this will take an actual effect with complete logging to the screen or to the log file. Let's see the demo starting from the beginning to the end. To show you how to use the tool, I'm using a new machine with Windows 10, which only has Notepad++. You can watch this video for more information about Git with animation. You will see different animated commands like branch, merge, rebase, cherry pick, and many others. So I download the tool, and after the download the tool, I just copy it to the document directory, so where I have permission, so I can write the log file. The tool can write the log file. This is the tool and this is the configuration file. So the first step is to make sure that I have the prerequisite by run the command line and check for Azure CLI by type AZ. And as we can see, Azure CLI is not installed. So I will just go and install Azure CLI. This is installing the CLI for Windows. So download and accept the license, installing Azure CLI. Once it's installed, just to verify my installation, run a new instance of the command line to load the new installed component. So as we can see, Azure CLI has been installed. Now check for Azure DevOps extension. Of course, we don't have it, just to show you. So it is not recognized. So I just need to install that extension. So by using Azure CLI. You can watch this video for more information about Docker containerization and where and how Docker can fit with DevOps and CI/CD pipelines. Copy that and run that to install the Azure DevOps extension. Searching, downloading, and then validating, installing the extension. All this instruction will be in the README file of the tool. Now Azure DevOps extension has been installed. Run new instance to load the extension and to check for the login, Azure DevOps. So we can see the tool, the Azure DevOps, it seems that it's working and waiting for arguments. So let's now close that. I have now the prerequisite and I just need to start running my first run. By default, I set all the configuration. The default configuration for the dry run is to true, and I set my organization, the token, and everything. So I will run the first dry run, and remember, I'm not logged in yet. So this will not take any actual effect, even in the actual mode. So by running the first time, as we can see, it shows me here that it's running in the dry run mode, and it will not take any effect and ask for confirmation. So if I type yes, it will start getting all the user, and based on the configuration values, it will see who is going to be downgraded and removed. This is the log file with the same information if you accidentally close the tools. Here I will set the configuration to change now, instead of the dry run to be false, which means that I need to run the actual mode. And remember, I'm still not logged in yet. So let's clear the screen. Now I will run my tool. So as we can see, this is the actual mode, and with the red color, which means that this is the actual mode. And just asking for my confirmation by type yes and enter, it will execute the actual mode. But since I'm not logged in, this also will not take any actual actions, because again, you know, it need login to the organization with high privilege. And as you can see, it takes time to take the actions because this method run asynchronous. So it sends the action to the CLI and waiting for the response in another thread. So it's taking time and still waiting for every command. This is why there is no response yet from the first one. And as we can see here, this is the first one. This is the first command, and since I didn't log in, I can't execute that command, so I need to log in. And to make sure to show you that this tool doesn't take any effect, let's run the dry run again. So if we run the dry run, we can see that I still have the same number of users. So the actual mode doesn't remove if I'm not logged in. And if I look at the logging information, we can see before the actual mode and the dry run, it is the same because I didn't log into the Azure DevOps. So this is just to show you here. So now I will start login. So if I want to take an actual actions, I need to run dry run false and with login. So now this will bring me the login window where I log in with my high privilege account, which I can use it to downgrade or remove user from organization. Just login, confirm, two-factor authentication. This screen will removed after 10 seconds. I can close it. And here I'm logged in now. So now if I run the actual mode, it will, but I don't need that. So here I will show you another option, which is now enable downgrade. I will set that to false, which means that I only enable the remove users. But again, this is the dry run, so it will not actually take any actions. So as we can see, all of them red, which means that they are removed, but there is no downgrade. Of course, I can make this true again and disable the remove user. So I will just downgrade users. and get back to the tool, try to run that again. Confirm. So we can see that all of them is yellow, which means that this is the downgraded and there is no removed user. So I can disable and enable that. And if I disable both of them, it means that I'm not going to remove or downgrade any users. So if we run the tool again, confirm, we can see that the tool doesn't do anything, and all of that in the dry run mode. At the end, I would like to thank you for watching the video. Please, if you have any question or comment, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find more information on my blog, which will appear at the end of the video, along with some other related video. Thank you.